Good evening, race fans, and welcome here to the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit here tonight for the Black Magic Designs Grand Prix. My name is Robert Hill Jr. I will be flying solo tonight here for round number 6 of the Warriors for Peace Open Wheel Series. Through 5 races this season, we have seen 4 different winners. Robert Malechka picking up rounds number 1 and 3 at Pocono and Indianapolis, respectively. Joshua Chin taking round number 2 at the Indy Road Course. Round number 4 went to Chad Frankenfield at the Milwaukee Mile, and last time out, it was Archie Coveney picking up his first victory at the Long Beach Circuit. Tonight, of course, 165 laps, unlimited tire sets, and, of course, as I just mentioned, the last race winner, Archie Coveney. So this is a little bit of a smaller circuit here at Brands Hatch, being the Indy course, as you can see on our map here. Very interesting that these guys are driving. I don't even know how to describe the shape of this racetrack. Maybe kind of like a kidney bean that's been squished a little bit. But track temperature tonight, 115 degrees Fahrenheit. For a bit of a track guide here, I'm going to send it to a driver that has a fair bit more experience here at this racetrack. Of course, we can't show the Dallara car that we're in tonight, so I'm going to send it over to former Formula 3 and Indy Lights driver Ben Collins for a bit of a track guide with a Ferrari. So, Ben, over to you, sir.
Here we are on the starting grid for this weekend's Ferrari Challenge race at Brands Hatch. And this weekend they're racing on the Indy track, which is the shorter circuit. They look friendly at the moment, but after qualifying, things are going to get real when the lights go out on that gantry. And this track may only have 5 corners. That does not mean it's straightforward. The great thing about Brands Hatch. Basically, hit every curve in sight to make the maximum exit out onto the next back straight. Just remember, when it breaks traction, there's a variety of ways this can go wrong. This corner is called Surtees. It's probably my favourite corner at Brands Hatch, and it really sorts the men out from the boys. And in lighter cars or smaller cars with less
Well, folks, that was Ben Collins, former Formula 3 and Indy Lights driver. Thanks, Ben, for that track guide tonight. You can check him out on YouTube, Ben Collins Drives, for more content like that and much more. We're just wrapping up qualifying here at the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit. It does look like Joshua Chin will lead us to the green flag tonight, followed by Adriano Pinero, Archie Coveney, Jesper Orman, and Robert Malechka. Let's take a look at the starting grid here tonight, as we have just wrapped up qualifying. His private labels Joshua Chin on the front row alongside BK Racing's Adriano Pinero, Archie Coveney, and Jesper Orman in row number 2, Robert Malechka, Kevin Burrell in row 3, Justin Fortner, Eric Troiano in row number 4, Chris Webb and Zachary Flom in row number 5, row 6, Jared Rexing alongside Victor Del Porto, row number 7, Ethan Stanley alongside Chad Simpson, row 8, Hunter Smith and Craig Forsyth, row number 9, Chris Samard and Seb Alexander, row 10, Jordan Owens and Chad Frankenfield, row 11, Gavin Hibbs alongside Jow Ritter, row 12 is Mark Murphy alongside Brant Johnson. Rounding out the field tonight, Michael Hosick and Bill Colley III. As we head down to the racetrack, we do get set to unleash the power of these Dallara cars, which again, we do have to call them a different name just because we can't use the real name due to some iRacing and that series contractual arguments, we'll say. But just taking a look at our points heading into tonight, Jesper Orman is your points leader by 10 over Adriano Pinero, 24 over Robert Malechka, 32 over Chad Frankenfield, and 55 over the pole sitter Joshua Chin. Chad Simpson is 6, 67 back. Archie Coveney 73 back in 7, 77 back in 8th is Victor Del Porto, 83 back in 9th is Ethan Stanley, and 84 back in 10th is Mark Murphy, our resident insurance adjuster here at the Elite Racing League, as we do get set to start our pace lap here behind the iRacing.com pace car. If you are joining us tonight over on the YouTube chat, why don't you hop in, let us know where you're from, who you're cheering on, and we'll try to have some conversations with you throughout tonight's event. Currently seeing about 7 of you hanging out with us over on YouTube. Hello, my name again is Robert Hill Jr. I am based out of Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. I am the voice of many series here at the Elite Racing League. I'm also a driver, not very good at it, but I do take part from time to time. As we see from random acts over on YouTube, we do know Ethan Stanley is going to be a force starting back in position number 12. Going to be interesting to see how Ethan does throughout the race. Of course, this offseason, he opted to join Lake Norman Motorsports, which is a team owned by Tyler Fody, one of our perennial frontrunners here in the Elite Racing League. Pace car is making the turn onto pit road here. We're getting set to go green behind the power of Joshua Chin and Adriano Pinero. Green flag in hand, green flag in the air as Joshua Chin leads us off in turn number 1. As the field heads down through turns 1, 2, and 3, we're just going to continue our shuffle through. We see a couple drivers falling back a little bit off the start. Chad Simpson down a couple spots. Ethan Stanley already up 3 as there's a bit of a cluster here behind Jared Rexing. It is Hunter Smith, Victor Del Porto, and Craig Forsyth all under a blanket. Joshua Chin doing a fantastic job thus far. And just like that, folks, lap number 1 is done. That is incredibly quick. Chris Webb is off of the racetrack. He gets his machine turned back around. That's unfortunate for Chris Webb as he has fallen through the field. Archie Coveney is up to the rear end of the Adriano Pinero machine. We will have a battle for position number 2 as we do have a caution out on the racetrack. Yellow flag is out. See if we can find out what happened to bring out our caution here on lap number 2. Guys, I am not seeing anything that would require a caution here. So I am not too sure what just happened. I do see Yao Ritter went off of the racetrack. Let's see if we can find out what happened to him. Maybe that is the cause of our caution. I'm going to pull up the Robilos Photography replay machine on my end. Fortunately, with this broadcast package that we have to run, you do not have that luxury. Yeah, Yao Ritter goes around. Chad Frankenfield, actually, folks, went around in front of the field. He has some front wing damage on that number 15, kicking the tires machine. His right front wing is hanging off. So that is the cause of caution number 1 tonight. An incident between Yao Ritter and Chad Frankenfield. Frankenfield will have to head pit side for some repairs on that machine. Seb Alexander also taking it pit side in his number 49 machine. He is missing the left front portion of his wing, where Chad is missing the right front. So together, they could have one full wing. I don't think they want to do it that way, but that is unfortunately the situation for those 2 drivers. Again, folks, tonight is the Black Magic Designs Grand Prix. I do want to give them a shout out early on here. Black Magic Designs is a small team of custom iRacing car painters and photographers dedicated to a quality customer experience. With paint starting as low as $15 per car, find them on Facebook or Discord. Black Magic Designs, where the paint is worth 2 tenths. Warriors for Peace is our series sponsor, and Warriors for Peace is a foundation promoting peaceful change in the world to honor the beautiful life of Jack Shockley. Check out warriorsforpeace.org for more information. That is Warriors, the number 4, peace.org. As we take a look down pit side, see what's going on there. Chad Simpson has headed pit side with Yao Ritter in tow. Mark Murphy down there as well. Chris Samard, Bill Colley, Seb Alexander, those drivers all on pit road. Chad Frankenfield back out. He has his front wing fixed up, so that is definitely a positive for Chad Frankenfield. Chad Simpson in the process of leaving pit road now. Yao Ritter also following him out. Mark Murphy, Chris Samard, and Bill Colley as well. Seb Alexander with a prolonged stay in his pit box, so maybe getting some additional attention from his crew. Of course, tonight is round number 6 of our season. Taking a look at the schedule, folks, see what's coming up next for us. Next race in this series will be July 13th, so we're off next week. And then we come back with 300 laps from the Iowa Speedway Oval, followed by 248 laps on July 20th at the Texas Motor Speedway Legacy Oval. So a couple of oval races coming up as we are green once again, and it is Joshua Chin out front of the bread man, Adriano Pinero. Bill Colley with a little bit of an incident on the racetrack. He has jumped pit side, so we will stay under green. Joshua Chin goes very wide off of that corner, nearly hits the grass. We look a little bit further back. Looks like we have a battle for position number 6. Justin Fortner moves up a spot. Eric Troiano goes way off track, folks. He just absolutely went through the mud. Victor Del Porto followed him through as well. Both drivers dropped substantially through this field, but one driver on the move thus far is, of course, Brent Johnson up 9 spots, and Michael Hossack up 9 as well. Taking advantage of some early pit stops, of course, that always comes into play at a racetrack like this, where a little bit different. I almost wouldn't even classify it as a road course, even though there are a lot of right turns. Very small racetrack, opportunity for these drivers to gain. And just as I say that, Michael Hossack drops 6 positions. So, Michael, I do apologize. I should not have mentioned anything. That is the commentator's curse that you just felt right there. And, buddy, it don't feel too good, I can tell you. As I do see now Craig Forsyth had himself a big moment, went off in the dirt as Craig rejoined the field in position number 15. He gets passed by Brent Johnson. Johnson now up 10 positions on the day. Seb Alexander, I believe, has called it a night. He is still on pit road. Bill Colley has rejoined. Actually, he is retired from the event. So Colley out on lap number 8. Taking a look at a couple battles through the field. Hunter Smith engaged in a battle. He is battling with the Ethan Stanley machine, swapping spots. Ethan Stanley in a new paint scheme tonight. Archie Coveney just had a moment. He went off the racetrack. He has rejoined the field. The Coveney falling backwards, actually just ahead of that battle between Smith and Stanley. Just ahead of them is Zachary Flom. Flom having himself a nice start to this race as well. We are approaching lap number 10. Zachary Flom up 2 positions. Thus far is coming pit side. That is Archie Coveney. Coveney heads pit side as he looks like he has a little bit of nose damage on that machine as well. Last week's winner not having the start to tonight's event that he would have wanted. Coveney now drops like a rock all the way back to position 24, which is the last car is currently scored. Chris Samard had himself an off-track moment just ahead. Big lockup. I believe that was the Brent Johnson machine. So not the easiest start to this race tonight, folks, for these drivers. A lot of drivers experiencing a couple off-track incidents, maybe some major lockups as well, which is something that you will see from time to time, or I guess in your case, you will hear from time to time. Chris Samard back off of the racetrack. He spent a little bit of extra time there. 6 seconds off in the dirt is what my timing and scoring has let me know, and actually I do believe your timing and scoring would tell you the same. Yes, it does. In the brackets, they're 5.52 seconds. Just to explain our timing and scoring here tonight, folks, from the left you see the positions, and then you see under G, that is the gained positions number, of course, number on the card. Next to that is the country flag of each driver. A variety of countries represented in the field tonight. Michael Hossack just went off of the race course as well. He rejoins after 4 seconds. Next to that is the name, followed by the team name, the lap that they are currently on. Brent Johnson, folks, he just had himself a big moment, ended up into the tire barrier. He will be able to continue on, which is a good thing, but he is missing the left front wing on that machine. Brent Johnson going to have to head pit side for some repairs. But back to the time and scoring tower. laps is the lap that they're currently working on or completed. Gap is the gap to the car ahead, or actually to the leader, sorry. Interval is the gap between the drivers. As you see, Zachary Flom and Hunter Smith swap positions there. Eric Troiano had himself a brief moment there, went off the racetrack and rejoined a couple seconds later. Next to that, you see PL. That is the lap that they pit on. PC is how many times they've come down pit road. Best, of course, best lap. And last, representing the last lap run by the driver. Mark Murphy off the racetrack. He is missing his left front wing on that number 69 machine as well. So some damage to quite a few wings here. So if you own a front wing company, folks, get out to the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit for any event that they run, because chances are you're going to sell a lot of front wings. Just got an update from our race controller, Jonathan Cutlip. He has let me know that the lap 12 incident between the 23 machine of Joao Ritter and the 69 of Mark Murphy, a tally has been issued to the 23 of Joao Ritter. So the way that the tally system works, folks, one tally, you're okay. Kind of on a bit of a race probation, sort of. Two tallies, you're done. You're done for the night. Send it to your garage stall. Go home. Well, you don't really have to go home. You just got to get out of here. Craig Forsyth had himself a moment. He went digging sandcastles. He rejoined just behind Chad Simpson again. Simpson running one of my favorite paint schemes here, or liveries, I should say, in this open wheel world, is Moradness on the side. Daniel Morad, of course, that is his company. He is a Canadian professional race car driver, has run the 24 hours of just about everything. And he took part in a charity race that I was part of putting on earlier this season, the iRacing for the Kids event through HIP Motorsports in Ajax, Ontario. We raised, I think it was almost $40,000 for the Toronto Sick Kids Hospital. Victor Del Porto has crashed and a caution has come out. We are under the yellow flag here on lap number 16 at the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit for Victor Del Porto. Not Joao Ritter. Joao, you're okay. That is unfortunate for Del Porto. Josh Chin picks up the safety car. He's going to jump behind him. Running through the top 10, folks. Joshua Chin, your leader, ahead of Adriano Pinero. Justin Fortner up 4 spots to 3rd. Robert Malechka, the 3rd, up to 4th, up 1 position. Kevin Burrell up 1 spot to 5th. Zachary Flom up 4 to 6th. Hunter Smith up 8 spots to 7th. Jesper Orman down 4 positions to position number 8. Ethan Stanley up 4 spots to 9th. And Jared Rexing up 1 position to that 10th spot. And just behind him, Gavin Hibbs is your biggest gainer, up 10 positions, as Kevin Burrell, Jesper Orman, Jared Rexing, Gavin Hibbs, and others up to come pit side. Eric Troiano, Jordan Owens, Chad Simpson, Craig Forsyth, Chad Frankenfield all go pit side. Chris Webb, Joao Ritter, Mark Murphy, Chris Samard, Michael Hosick, and Victor Del Porto. We are going to take a commercial break here, pay some bills at the Elite Racing Network. We'll be back in about 2 minutes' time for more racing action from the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit. Don't go anywhere.
But experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. iRace or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we are back here at the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit. This is the Black Magic Designs Grand Prix. Wrapping up caution number 2, and was Victor Del Porto involved in that one. Contact between Del Porto and Joao Ritter has been ruled a racing incident. Joshua Chin on the loud pedal. We are back under green. You just heard from our friends at T Services, one of our premier partners here in the Elite Racing League, as well as iRacing.com, the service that makes this all happen for us. As well as, of course, our friends at T Services. We also have Blue Egg Marketing to thank for their support. Blue Egg is the marketing department for small businesses, small business owners. Blue Egg is your biggest fan. Worldwide Technology Raceway is also one of our premier partners. Worldwide Technology Raceway is home to a 1.25-mile oval, 2-mile road course, quarter-mile drag strip, and a state-of-the-art karting facility known as the Kartplex. Check out Worldwide Technology Raceway today. As we look back down on the racetrack, some battles. Everyone's pretty much single-filed out. Mark Murphy chasing down the Chad Simpson machine. He dives to the inside of Simpson through this corner. Murphy now has to fight him off. Chad Simpson dives back. A little bit of a crossover there as they single file back out. There. I believe we may have just been briefly disconnected from this one. If we can get that reestablished. I do apologize for any sort of hiccup there. Let me just double check that we're back. Sorry about that, folks. The internet decided that it was going to take a brief nap. There we go. Thank you, Random Acts, for letting us know that we are back. Joshua Chin is your race leader. Doing it to us. Let me just deal with these technical issues. We'll be right back. And we are back under caution as my machine has decided it might want to work again. Mark Murphy, Chris Samard, both involved in this one. A bit of heavy damage to that Mark Murphy machine and the Chris Samard machine. Both of those drivers have taken it pit side here on lap number 23. I'm going to take a look and try to walk you folks through it. Fortunately, we don't have that particular replay. So that was during the time of one of those brief naps for the internet service here. Just an update, folks. Archie Covey has called it a night, so he has retired from tonight's event. Ethan Stanley, Jordan Owens, Victor Del Porto, Joao Ritter, Michael Hosek, Chris Webb, Chris Samard, Mark Murphy, Gavin Hibbs, Brant Johnson, Seb Alexander, Archie Covey, Bill Colley, currently shown off of the racetrack. Just taking a look to see what's going on. Gavin Hibbs has just retired from tonight's event. So drivers out of the event: Gavin Hibbs, Bill Colley, and Archie Covey. Taking a look, folks, at the tire selections currently out there. Adriano Pinero, Chad Simpson, Victor Del Porto, Chris Samard, Ethan Stanley, Jared Rexing, Robert Malechka, Eric Troiano, Brant Johnson, all on the black tires. Everyone else is on the reds at this point. So some tire differences currently out there on our racetrack. Something to keep an ear on, I guess. Can't really say keep an eye on, but keep an ear on as we go through. Anyways, your top 10 as they run here. Caution number 3 on lap 25. Taking a look, Joshua Chin, Adriano Pinero, Justin Fortner, Zachary Flom, Hunter Smith, the top 5. Robert Malechka, Kevin Burrell, Jesper Orman, Jared Rexing, Eric Troiano, the top 10. Just outside the top 10, Craig Forsyth, Chad Frankville, Chad Simpson, Ethan Stanley, and Jordan Owens, the top 15. Michael Hossack, Victor Del Porto, and Joao Ritter, the last of the cars currently scored as active in the event. Actually, say that. I believe Seb Alexander is back under power. Brent Johnson as well. So that is a positive there. We look out on the racetrack. Update from our race controller, John Cutlip. The 69 of Murphy ran wide off the corner, clipping the grass, causing him to spin towards the 37 machine and collected the 68. The 37 Samard, and the 68 is Webb. We are back under green here. Joshua Chin with a fantastic start. He has got himself out to a bit of a lead over the Adriano Pinero machine, the Breadman, currently trailing out here on the racetrack. Justin Fortner doing a phenomenal job up to position number 3, currently about 0.4 of a second behind Adriano Pinero, but he is holding off the Hunter Smith machine, his teammate, by about 0.8 of a second now. Looking through the field, folks, trying to find those battles, but everyone seems to have been able to spread themselves out a little bit from each other, give each other a bit of breathing room, which is exactly what you want to see if you want to start getting those longer runs in, which we haven't really had the luxury of thus yet due to those incidents. You have a pass out on the racetrack, side by side action. Whoa! Bit of action towards the rear. That is Seb Alexander. No, Brent Johnson just got involved in an incident. He went around behind the Jordan Owens machine. And that's unfortunate for Seb. Just rejoined the pack. Jared Rexing now is side by side with Ethan Stanley. That is a battle for position number 12. Stanley clears Rexing, but now Rexing trying to hold off Chad Simpson. Simpson trying to close the gap on Jared Rexing, just up ahead of them there. We have a gaggle of cars. Troiano, Orman, Forsyth, Frankenfield, all swapping spots each and every lap. Forsyth is side by side with Orman now. Now Forsyth clears Orman. Orman nearly getting caught up in an incident as Forsyth just about gets into the rear of Troiano. Frankenfield battling with Ethan Stanley. Stanley trying to catch that Frankenfield machine. Just want to give a shout out to Chad Frankenfield and his family having some health issues with one of his dogs, and that's always unfortunate as the field does go by the Brant Johnson machine now. Johnson just went pit side not long ago to fix up his car. But again, shout out to Chad. Hopefully everything works out for the best for his dog, as we did just have an incident on the racetrack. It involved Craig Forsyth in that one, and I do believe Brant Johnson also involved in that one. So very unfortunate for Johnson. He does head pit side once again, but taking a look at Joshua Chin, he leads by 1.5 seconds over Adriano Pinero. Pinero closes about 1/10 and a half that last couple corners. Justin Fortner closing the gap now on Adriano Pinero. Hunter Smith trying to close the gap on Justin Fortner. So battles all throughout the field here. As we take a look over in our messages, Mark Murphy with a bit of a message for us. Let's check in with Mark Murphy, see what's going on. Hey Mark, it's Robert up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Just saw you get caught up in an incident there not too long ago. You want to walk us through what happened?
Yeah, so just not being smart. Chris got alongside of me there, Chris Simrad, because I overshot the left-hander and got up on the grass and spun it right in front of him. That's completely on me. Um, it's completely my fault. So feel bad for Chris. But, overall the racing here is pretty fun. I've got another 16 minutes of repair, and we'll try to effect that repair and get back out. Hopefully, salvage something. I know it seems kind of silly to sit for 16 minutes, but there's going to be some carnage here, so why not? Why not wait it out?
That's exactly it. And actually, as you say that, we just saw Ethan Stanley pit side with the nose hanging off of his machine. So carnage did in fact ensue there. But, I've sat for even longer than 16 minutes just to collect a couple points, which definitely come in handy towards the end of the season. So.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, you do get a drop week here, the Elite Racing League. Certainly, a lot of people, and this is probably the least attended race of the year, 26 cars. There's some people that sat this week for sure. But if you can pull a top 15 out of here, it's just that much extra padding when something crazy happens. This is the second to last road race, so from here we're going to Iowa and Texas. We've got Michigan, Charlotte, and Gateway on the schedule yet. You get in the ball of one of those places, so it's a little bit of insurance if you can run around and pick up more than minimum points here, and that's what we're going to try to do.
Absolutely, got to try to minimize the loss and maximize the points as best as you can here tonight. But Mark, before we let you get back to your crew and those repairs, any shout outs you want to give, any sponsors you want to thank?
Yeah, so feel bad for my sponsors, Black Magic Designs. They're sponsoring a show tonight, so shout out to Andy and Toby and Ryan and the crew over there. Sorry we brought it home in a bucket. That happens sometimes, but we'll get back out. Race first, obviously. If you want to watch some classic redacted action, head on over to their YouTube channel, and you can see a lot of them. Those races are still up and available. And then thank you, Robert, for what you do. We're sitting here. I'm showing 19th. It says 21st on the broadcast, so I don't know, but I'm showing 19th. That's better than minimum points. So we'll go out and see what we can get here.
Absolutely, we'll see what you can do. Hopefully, you can recover a little bit there. We are under caution once again after an incident with Jordan Owens. But Mark, best of luck to you, and we'll see you back out on the racetrack shortly.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We are under caution once again. Like I mentioned, that one does involve the Jordan Owens machine, and Mark is right. Not sure why it's scoring him down in position number 22. I guess that's because he's tied with Chris Amard and Chris Webb, so it's kind of just scoring based off of that. But Mark in server is being scored in position number 20. So Mark should be able to gain a couple more spots here when he comes back out onto the racetrack. We are on lap 138 under caution number 4 at this point. Jordan Owens, the latest victim on the racetrack. Looks like we have about 16 cars still running, actually 17 if you do include the Jordan Owens machine. He's missing most of his front nose. There are no left front or right front wings on that machine. So Owens will come down pit road, get that thing repaired, and should be able to rejoin. An update, everyone in the field has pit with the exception of Joshua Chin and Adriano Pinheiro. Both of those drivers have been very phenomenal thus far. Taking a look at their push to pass as well. Those top two drivers, both with 10 push to pass left. Third place driver, Kevin Burrell, with just 7 pushes of that artificial speed. 9 for Jesper Orman, and then 10 back to Jared Rexing. So, interesting to see the difference in strategy between these drivers. And just like I said, Jordan Owens did make it back onto the racetrack with his wing repaired. Just looking through the field, folks, looks like, unfortunately, Archie Covey and Bill Colley both despising tonight's race, but kind of to be expected. Kind of to be expected. Some drivers not big fans of this style of racing, and it's driving a little bit, I don't know, I want to say unstable for some of these drivers. Obviously, if it was me, I'd be in the tire barrier 25 minutes ago. Actually, no, we're 33 minutes in. Probably 32 minutes ago, I would be wall deep here at the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit. Lee has jumped into the chat. Unfortunately, Lee, we are not able to show any sort of video due to a licensing agreement between Redacted Car and iRacing. iRacing has lost the Redacted Car contract due to a licensing agreement with Motorsports Games, who are apparently in the process of building a Redacted Car video game, but apparently they're also in the process of going bankrupt. So we will see what happens in the future. As soon as we're able to show a video again, you know that we will, because we love putting on a show here at the Elite Racing Network, and for these drivers, we just want to try to bring some exposure here through the radio broadcasts. It's not what we want to do, but at this point, it's what we have to do, and sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So, Seb Alexander just went off the racetrack there. He had himself a moment. Michael Hosek is stopped on the racetrack. He gets his number 24 machine moving once again. His track racer, number 24 for Covered Bridge. Good to see Hosek moving and no caution on that one. 124 laps to go. Joshua Chin has led every single lap. Adriano Pinero 7/10 back, 1.2 seconds back to Kevin Burrell. Jesper Orman hanging out just behind Jared Rexing there in 5th. Chad Simpson, Justin Fortner, Hunter Smith, Chad Frankenfield, and Zachary Flom, the top 10. The battle behind Flom is Del Porto, Forsyth, a little bit back to Jordan Owens, who just got a new wing, Eric Troiano right there, Robert Malechka. So we have a bunch of cars in a very, very tight space here on the racetrack. As you'll see going across the screen all night long is our sponsors, Blue Egg Marketing, TA Services, as well as Worldwide Technology Raceway. Check them out if you get a chance. Let them know that the Elite Racing Network sent you. We couldn't do any of this without them. They are great supporters of the Elite Racing League and all the racing that you see here, or I guess just here on the Elite Racing Network here tonight and all season long as well. Mark Rubilis of Rubilis Photography. Don't see his graphic as much on these broadcasts because we can't show replays, but RubilisPhoto.com for all your photography needs. Mark Rubilis has put a ton of money into this open wheel series, helping out with our Indianapolis 500 and various other races as well, putting up quite a bit of purse for these drivers to race for. And you know, as a racer myself, I love racing for a bit of an extra purse. So thank you to Mark and all of our sponsors here at the Elite Racing Network. Looking through the field for some battles. Like Chad Simpson has himself a battle. Justin Fortner breathing down his neck. Fortner trying to close that gap to get by the Chad Simpson machine. He looks right. Simpson holds left. Here comes Fortner. He's pulling Hunter Smith with him. So Chad Simpson drops from 6 now back to position number 8 as Hunter Smith and Chad Simpson go on by. Chad Frankenfield trying to hunt them down just behind him. Zach Flom, Victor Del Porto. Craig Forsyth has a bit of a challenge from Eric Troiano. Troiano going to have to hold off Malechka. Just an update, we do only have 17 cars of the 26 still on the racetrack. closest battle on the racetrack is Victor Del Porto and Zachary Flom. Del Porto looks to the right of Flom, outbreaks him through that corner. Flom falls back just a little bit. That was at the exit of the uphill portion of this racetrack. You're aided by that uphill when it comes to your braking, and we just saw that with Del Porto being able to outrun Flom, but Flom now closing that gap right back up, looking towards the front. Speaking of up, gap between Chin and Pinero. Oh, Eric Troiano, folks, just had an off-track moment. He is mowing the grass. He is able to rejoin the field just behind Jordan Owens. Owens clears Eric Troiano. Zachary Flom with a moment. He has gone off the racetrack. He was just outside of that top 10. Now finds himself all the way back in position 15th, under threat from Michael Hossack. Hossack about to make the pass for 15th. Zachary Flom had himself a rather large moment there. Looks like Jared Rexing is approaching a bit of a battle here. Justin Fortner catching up to the tail of the Rexing machine. Rexing, the number 10 car, just ahead of the 26 of Fortner. Fortner for Little Eagle. Rexing of, well, his own wallet out here on the racetrack as Justin Fortner makes that pass look rather easy. Gets by Jared Rexing. Hunter Smith takes a dive to the inside of Rexing. Rexing closes the door. Hunter Smith gets back in line. It is a train of 3 cars, Fortner, Rexing, and Smith. Rexing looks back to the right side of Justin Fortner. Fortner closes the door. Now back in line is Rexing. Rexing has himself a bit of a moment there. Nearly loses it ahead of Hunter Smith. Smith clears him. Now gets in line just behind them. Chad Simpson is doing a bit of drafting with Chad Frankenfield. Frankenfield dives on by the Simpson Satellite Racing FBR machine. That moves Chad Frankenfield up to position number 8. Looking a little bit further back, Robert Malechka has caught up to the tail of Craig Forsyth. Forsyth trying to hold off the 2-time winner this season, Robert Malechka III. Malechka trying to get by Forsyth so he can set his sights on the top 10. They are side by side down towards turn number 1. Malechka gets the advantage over Craig Forsyth. Forsyth falls back to position number 12 as Malechka moves his way up one step closer to that top 10. And a bit further up, we have another battle. Justin Fortner not too far ahead of Hunter Smith. Smith trying to close that gap on his teammate. Little Eagle Racing currently has 3 cars inside the top 10. And their other teammate, of course, Mark Murphy, who we spoke with a little bit earlier tonight, having himself a bit of a rough go after an incident that was just unfortunate. Put a wheel off, and sometimes the grass just isn't very friendly. As Justin Fortner does have company now, here is Hunter Smith. Smith gets up to the rear gearbox of the Justin Fortner machine. Fortner trying to run away just a little bit. That gap is only about 0.2 of a second, actually 0.4 now. As Hunter Smith checks up just a little bit. Jared Rexing trying to close that gap himself. Del Porto just got by Chad Simpson for position number 9. Simpson now into 10th spot ahead of Robert Malechka. Malechka takes a look to the right side. Now he takes a dive to the inside of Chad Simpson. Simpson lets off a little bit, lets Malechka go. Malechka now into position number 10, working his way up through the field rather nicely after a bit of a miscue earlier on in the race. Eric Troiano now gets by Craig Forsyth. That's for position number 12. Troiano up to that 12th spot. Frankenfield now in position number 8, just on an island. Bit of a gap of a couple seconds ahead to Jared Rexing, a couple seconds back to Victor Del Porto. But Del Porto's been rather sporty here over the last couple laps, and I think that may come into play. Seb Alexander pits from the 19th spot. That is another update here from pit road. I'm looking through the field here. No real battles. Closest battle remains Hunter Smith and Justin Fortner, but why don't we have a bit of a conversation over here in the YouTube chat, folks? This weekend, the Real Life Redacted Car Series heads to Mid-Ohio. Who's your pick to take the victory there? And Lee, I do absolutely agree that they'll never release a redacted car game, but unfortunately, due to legal contract, iRacing does not allow any sort of broadcast of video of these cars. We've reached out, we've asked different ways to do it, and even this, we're kind of borderline, but we can do it without talking about it, which is tough, especially when we did our 500 about a month ago, not talking about these cars, not talking about the racetrack. That's not easy, but it was a good race anyways, with Robert Malechka III picking up his third victory of that race in a row. But back to the topic for the YouTube chat. Who's your pick to take the victory this weekend at Mid-Ohio in these cars? And if you're a NASCAR fan, who's going to take the win at the Chicago Street Circuit? That's going to be very interesting. I'm going to be watching the Xfinity Series, I think, this weekend. For myself, I'm from Canada. I do have some experience spotting in the NASCAR Pinty Series, which does do some street circuits. And we have a couple drivers down there in the Xfinity Series this weekend. Alex LeBay, of course, has run a handful of races this season and has run full-time in the past. Dexter Stacy has also run full-time in the Xfinity Series in the past. He's run very well at the Toronto Indy Circuit. And, Alex Gannett, another driver a lot of you guys might not remember, had himself a deal, I believe it was with GMS a number of years ago, or Turner Motorsports. Either way, he ran very well, and he's a very strong competitor in the NASCAR Pinty Series. I think you're going to see those drivers up in the top 10. LeBay might even have a shot at battling for the win, depending on the equipment he's in. Being a Joey Gase car, I don't know. But Brent Jones over there, Scott Dixon and Daniel Suarez, respectively. Brent, if you're home, man, hop on over to the Elite Discord. You can hang out with me. We can chat here on the broadcast. Just taking a look through the field, folks. No real major battles on the racetrack at this point. Closest battle, half a second, is between Justin Fortner, Hunter Smith, and don't look now, well, I guess don't listen now, Mark Murphy is back on the racetrack. Good buddy Mark Murphy, just talked to him not too long. Brent Jones, you enjoy that half a second. What's on it? Let us know over in the YouTube chat, and everyone else can critique of your sandwich tonight. Justin Fortner has some company. Hunter Smith closing the gap to the rear wing of the number 26 Fortner machine. Oh no, Mark Murphy has just jumped back pit side, so I think that machine is a little bit broken. Gianno Pinero, folks, he has just headed pit side for the first time tonight here on lap number 59. 106 laps to go as the bread man heads pit side for the first time. See what happens here in regards to his tire selection. Of course, entered pit road, like I mentioned, on the black tires. Let's see if he stays on them or if he swaps over to reds. He's going to stay on the black tires here. So Pinero going for a second stint on the black tires. One requirement in this particular series, folks, for those of you that don't know, is you are required to swap your tires at least once in the event. Joshua Chin now heads pit side. His tires, as he came down pit road, were reds. Now move Joshua Chin over to the blacks. So the tire swap has been conducted for Joshua Chin, meaning next time he comes down pit road, he can switch back to the reds if he feels a bit more comfortable on that. That hands your race leader, folks, over to Kevin Burrell. Burrell now the race leader once again. He last pit on lap number 17, so been quite a while for him as well. Del Porto had himself a moment off the racetrack. He rejoins. He's just ahead of Adriano Pinero. Pinero going to try to work his way quickly through the field. Mark Murphy back out onto the racetrack. Hunter Smith just cleared Justin Fortner, but Fortner saying, not so fast, buddy. I'm coming back to the inside now. Hunter Smith closes that gap on, or that door on Justin Fortner. Fortner back to fourth. Hunter Smith up to position number 3. Their top 5 as they run Kevin Burrell, Jesper Orman, Hunter Smith, Justin Fortner, and Jared Rexing. Chad Frankenfield in 6th. Robert Malechka in 7th. Joshua Chin in 8th after his pit stop. Just behind him, Chad Simpson and Eric Troiano. Victor Del Porto has a mirrorful of Adriano Pinero for position number 12. Pinero trying to work his way up back to that top 10. Going to take a bit of work to get there, but if anyone can do it, Breadman can. Ethan Stanley off the racetrack very deep. He was looking to mow some grass and maybe pull some weeds out there, but he jumps back onto the racetrack in position number 17. Mark Murphy off the racetrack. Oh, he's deep in the tires. Mark Murphy is done, most likely for the day, as he has headed pit side once again. Joshua Chin taking a look further back. He currently runs in that 8th spot, trying to work his way back through the field. Justin Fortner retakes position number 3 over Hunter Smith, as Smith had a moment there. He went off the racetrack and stopped out there. He's regoing, I guess we'll go with, in position number 5. Let's just take a look at the front of that machine, make sure that the entire wing is there. It is, so Hunter Smith is okay, but he's fallen back to the 5th spot. Just taking a look at some of the times out here on the racetrack. Joshua Chin just gets by Chad Frankenfield. Chin ran a very fast lap earlier tonight. His quick time, 37.35. I believe the next closest is Adriano Pinero with a 37.48. So that's actually a pretty big gap, about a 1/10 and a half between those drivers. But Chin's just unbelievable here at Brands Hatch Indy Circuit. Taking a look a little bit further back, we do have a battle heating up. Is Eric Troiano just on the rear of the Chad Simpson machine. Troiano looks to the right side. Chad Simpson holds steady on the left. Comes Eric Troiano. Troiano gets by. Ooh, things are getting a little hairy here around the Victor Del Porto and Adriano Pinero machines. They dive to the right side of Craig Forsyth. Forsyth closes the door on Adriano Pinero. Pinero looked to the right, but Forsyth slid right into that position, knocking off any opportunity that Pinero had. Pinero now late breaks into the corner, gets to the right side of Forsyth, move Adriano Pinero up to the top 10, or up into position 12, sorry. As Joshua Chin just had a moment not too long ago. One of the rare mistakes for Joshua Chin. Doesn't make too many of them, but when he does, that's not good for him, obviously, as he's lost a bit of ground out on the racetrack. He was looking to gain a couple more spots, but it's going to be interesting. We're now less than 100 to go. 98 laps to be exact. We're approaching the halfway point. About 14 laps or so from the halfway mark here tonight. It's been basically the Joshua Chin and Adriano Pinero show, as Jesper Orman, our points leader, heads pit side. That should move Justin Fortner up to position number 2, as Orman looks to get his machine fixed up down on pit road, put some new tires on that, and come back out for another run. Got to think these drivers might make one more pit stop after this, split this final stint, and work their way towards the finish line. Jesper Orman continuing to fall as he's on pit road, currently exiting. Looks like he'll come out just ahead of Zachary Flom. by a fair bit over Flom in position number 13. Kevin Burrell, your race leader, now heads pit side. He enters pit road. Just taking a look again at those tires. Burrell enters on reds. Does he stay on reds? Yes, he does. Kevin Burrell will stay on the red tire compound. So now the top 5 as they run. I sounded very surprised there. Now the top 5 as they run. Justin Forner, Jared Rexing, Hunter Smith, Robert Malechka, and Joshua Chin. But Chin is on the tail of Malechka. Josh Chin has had a fantastic run. He dives to the right side of Malechka. Malechka just lets him go, knowing that Joshua Chin is so much quicker. It's just easier sometimes to let these guys go. If Tyler Fode's listening, it's pretty much what I do with you every single race because you're just too darn good. Frankenfield is in 6th. Troiano now heads pit side, as does Chad Simpson. So we are currently in the pit cycle here. We're going to take a quick commercial break on the Elite Racing Network as we cycle through these pit stops. Actually, hold on. Adriano Pinero just had a big moment off the racetrack. He's going to lose a couple spots. As Forsyth goes by, as does Orman. That is not what Pinero was hoping for. Jesper Orman actually falls back just behind. But losing that spot to Orman would not be good for Adriano Pinero. Robert Malechka now heads pit side. And so we will be back in about 2 minutes time here on the Elite Racing Radio Network. Don't go anywhere.
Isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we are back here at the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit, taking a look out on the racetrack. Currently, as they run, Justin Fortner is your race leader, just ahead of Hunter Smith, Joshua Chin, Kevin Burrell, Chad Frankenfield, the top 5, Victor Del Porto, Jesper Orman, Craig Forsyth, Adriano Pinero, and Zachary Flom, the top 10. So Pinero did end up losing that position to Jesper Orman as well as Craig Forsyth. So Pinero, not what he was hoping for during this pit cycle, and exactly what Joshua Chin wanted. He's caught the rear of the Hunter Smith and Justin Fortner machines as well. Actually, I do stand corrected. Hunter Smith on the rear of Chad Simpson's machine. Justin Fortner has about a straightaway gap over Smith and Chin. Chin gets by Chad Simpson relatively easily. Simpson showing great respect to these drivers, moving out of the way. He's running 14th right now, so not even half bad for Chad Simpson. Looking at our biggest movers in the field thus far, Chad Frankenfield up 15 spots, Hunter Smith up 13, and Michael Hosek up 10 spots. Of course, on the other end of that stick, Archie Coveney down 22 positions, followed by Chris Webb down 12. Fortunate there for those guys. Joshua Chin is the guy we're watching here. He has caught the tail of Hunter Smith. Smith not too far ahead of Joshua Chin, as Chin is going to look to make that pass for position number 2 out here on the racetrack. And just an update as we are going through the pit cycle, Hunter Smith and Justin Fortner last pit on lap 38, for Joshua Chin last pit on lap 60. 89 laps to go here in the 165 lap Black Magic Designs Grand Prix. Once again, thank you to Black Magic Designs for coming on board with us here tonight. Black Magic Designs is a small team of custom iRacing car painters and photographers dedicated to quality customer experience. With paint starting as low as $15 per car, find them on Facebook or Discord. Black Magic Designs, where the paint is worth 2 tenths. You just heard from TA Services and iRacing.com, 2 of our partners here at the Elite Racing League. Blue Egg Marketing is another premier partner, and Blue Egg is the marketing department for small businesses. Small business owners, Blue Egg is your biggest fan, and we are under caution once again. And oh no, it is the points leader, Jesper Orman, that has just crashed. His rear wing hanging off here. Taking a look at what just happened to Jesper Orman. Just ahead of the Chad Franken, actually going by the Chad Frankenfield machine. Orman dives to the right side. Looks like they're catching up to, I believe that to be Victor Del Porto. No, that is, yeah, that is the 21 of Victor Del Porto. Orman dives 3 wide. That just didn't work. Ends up with Orman missing a rear wing. So Jesper Orman dove it, but it just didn't work. Justin Fortner going to head pit side, as does Hunter Smith. Chin going to stay out. Everyone else done. He kind of mixed out here on the racetrack. But back to our partners. Blue Egg Marketing is the marketing department for small businesses, small business owners. Blue Egg is your biggest fan. Worldwide Technology Raceway as well is a motorsport racing facility in Madison, Illinois, close to the Gateway Arch, featuring a 1.25 mile oval, 2 mile road course, quarter-mile drag strip, and a state-of-the-art karting facility known as the Kartplex. Check out Worldwide Technology Raceway today. And of course, Warriors for Peace, our series sponsor. Warriors for Peace is a foundation promoting peaceful change in the world to honor the beautiful life of Jack Shockley. Check out warriorsforpeace.org for more information. That is Warriors, number 4, peace.org. We're going to crank it up a little bit as we're under caution here. You can listen to the beautiful sounds of the redacted car. We are back under green. Joshua Chin out front on the loud pedal ahead of the Kevin Burrell machine. Burrell holding on to position number 2 just ahead of Adriano Pinheiro. So Pinheiro took advantage of that caution, able to work his way up to position number 3. Eric Troiano had himself an off-track moment. Taking a look here, he is still in the process of rejoining, nearly clipped the tires, but he rejoins back in position number 12. So great fall through the field for Eric Troiano. Of course, tonight's race, once again, sponsored by Black Magic Designs. Seeing an update here from Brant Johnson. Brant, unfortunate for you, buddy, that you were caught up in some incidents here tonight. Didn't look like a very easy track for you guys, as I don't think the cars were handling overly well. Of course, fixed setup here kind of throws things for a loop, but glad to see you over in our YouTube chat. Kind of taking a look through the field, see what we can find. Gotta be something we can find here. There we go. Got a little bit of a battle. That looks like Zachary Flom slicing and dicing his way through. Just ahead of Jesper Orman, just behind Craig Forsyth and Robert Malechka. Malechka, of course, two-time winner this season, looking to put himself in victory lane for a third time. Doesn't want anyone to tie his record thus far this season of 2 victories, so he's going to have to work his way up there a little bit quicker. He currently runs in position number 8 with 81 to go. We are just at the halfway point here in tonight's event. It has been all Joshua Chin. Well, a little bit of Kevin Burrell, a little bit of Justin Fortner too, but mostly Joshua Chin out front. As we do take a look just behind him, Kevin Burrell. He's holding on, folks. Kevin Burrell is as close as anyone really has been all night to the Joshua Chin machine, and Joshua sometimes toys a little bit, so that might be something to keep an eye on as we go through tonight's event. 80 to go, 85 laps in, so this guy's doing a nice job ticking off these laps. Average lap time for most of these guys, about the 38-second range, so pretty quick lap times around this circuit. Again, probably take me 2 minutes to finish one lap. Not very good at turning right or hitting brakes, so if you made it just a big oval, I could probably do it, but otherwise, nope, not gonna do it. Just looking through the top 5, Kevin Burrell, Adriano Pinero, Hunter Smith, Justin Fortner, all chasing down Joshua Chin. Victor Del Porto in 6th. Ahead of Chad Frankenfield, Robert Malechka, Zachary Flom, and Jesper Orman. And just as I say that, of course, Malechka has to go and change my order. Zachary, oh my gosh, who just went? Oh, Craig, come on. Craig Forsyth goes deep into the tire wall and now deep into pit road. So Craig Forsyth out of this event. I was cheering on Craig there, my fellow Canadian. Was hoping that maybe one of them could get a podium at some point this season. We'll wait for the ovals. See what those guys can do. Michael Hossack, my other fellow Canadian, running in position number 15. That guy owes me a bottle of maple syrup, by the way. Michael, if you're listening, my pancakes are waiting. Now, Brent, if you're hanging out over in the YouTube chat, I do have a question for you. Obviously, being in Michigan, have you ever been to the Kalamazoo racetrack there in Michigan? Let me know. Typically, when it comes to a state, I'm just like, oh, you live in that state? Yeah, you must be close to that area, so we'll just go with that. Zachary Flom works his way past Chad Frankenfield for position number 7. Frankenfield going backwards. It's Flom working his way forward now. Nice to see Zachary Flom, bright pink and black machine out there up inside the top 10. Just ahead of him is Victor Del Porto, who is chasing down Justin Fortner. Fortner trying to chase down his teammate Hunter Smith, who's trying to chase down the bread man, Adriano Pinero. Chad Frankenfield, oh no. Chad, he just went into the tire barrier. Taking a look back on the Robiles photography replay machine, I do believe Chad just overcooked it into the corner. Let's take a look. Yeah, he just overcooked it. Chad has crashed, folks. He is missing the front end of his machine. Chad Frankenfield has called it a night. He has gone pit side with his number 15 kicking the tires machine because, well, folks, tires kick back this time. Frankenfield falls out of the top 10 as he sits on pit road. Jordan Owens now moves up to the 11th spot. Eric Troiano inside the top 10. Now that is all that are currently scored on the lead lap. Kevin Burrell slides a little bit too far off of the racetrack there. Nearly loses positions to Adriano Pinheiro and Hunter Smith, but those drivers both holding steady in third and fourth, respectively. Not too far behind them, though, we have a bit of a gaggle. Zachary Flom, Jesper Orman stuck behind one of the lap cars. Let's take a look and see if we can find who in the world that might be. Go back to Zachary Flom. Try to get eyes on this lap car. Not sure who that is, folks. But hey, they're still on the racetrack, so kudos to them. They're still here. So that is what matters. Look, see who's still running of our lapped cars. I believe that was maybe Michael Hosick that was going a lap down to Flom and Orman. Orman, our points leader, ending tonight, currently in position number 8. Somebody just had a brief moment just ahead of these guys. No, Brant, I said Brent. So Brent Jones is here as well. Eric Troiano just had himself a brief off track. Does rejoin the field. But no, Brent Jones is also hanging out here in the YouTube chat. Brent Jones, Brent Johnson. One in Kalamazoo, one in Perth. Big gap. But, oof. See, 4 degrees Celsius. Oh, it's winter over there, isn't it, Brant? Because it is very much summer here. Currently showing on my computer 23 degrees Celsius. And smoke warning. Because we have a lot of wildfires not too far from it. Which, sorry, America, we are giving you a bit of a smoke screen as well. I heard on the news yesterday that they're seeing the smoke all the way in, like, Europe. Nuts. 1 degree Celsius, Brent. That is cold this time of the year. But how cold does it get in the winter over there? We hit minus 40 sometimes in the winter. Got a battle on the racetrack. Zachary Flom just got passed by Jesper Orman. Orman moves up to position number 7. Flom back to position number 8. Looking a bit ahead, though. Adriano Pinheiro trying to close the gap on Kevin Burrell. Burrell now falling back from Joshua Chin. We have 70 to go here. $95 down, 70 to go. Yeah, you're lucky, Brant. We get the 40 degrees in the summer. It's been 40 most of the week with big thunderstorms, but in the winter we get about minus 40. Is not fun. Because that's just cold. So a bit of updates here from the Elite Racing Network, as these drivers have kind of straightened it out just a little bit, just rolling around at this point. We will be off next week Nothing going on next week. Then the following week, the week of our next open wheel race here for the Warriors for Peace series, we will have Tuesday night will be the ARCA series. It'll be Gen 4 at Chicagoland. Then Thursday will be Iowa Speedway. We will have 300 laps of open wheel action. Dave Huckleberry will be here for that one alongside Johnny Thomas. I'll be at my local dirt track calling a race there. And then the next day, I am headed for Toronto. I'll be part of the IndyCar Radio Network coverage of the 2023 Honda Indy Toronto. I'll also be spotting in the NASCAR Pinty Series that day, so very busy couple days coming up for me a little bit later on. And then that Sunday, so the 16th, I will be driving back from Toronto and going to call more dirt racing. So very busy couple days that week. It's going to be very fun, though. Yeah, Brent, you should come visit and check out this very cold and very hot weather that we experience here. It's wild. And then we've been having smoke like all summer so far. Very nice. Appreciate you tuning into all of our streams, by the way. Would love to see you over in our ARCA series, maybe some Tuesday nights, or Truck series on Sundays, or Grand National on Mondays, or Cup on Wednesdays, or just about anything that we run. Looking through the field here, guys. No real battles. Michael Hossack closing into the Chad Simpson machine. Oh. You used to work in China. What was that like? That is cool. We just opened the company I work for, a big international wholesaler. I believe we have some in Australia as well, but we just opened a couple stores in China over the last couple years, and doing crazy numbers. Millions of dollars a day in those stores. If you're wondering what company I'm talking about, we have very big parking spots and very cheap hot dogs. .63 to go here. Joshua Chin, Kevin Burrell, Adriano Pinero, Hunter Smith, and Justin Fortner, the top five. Victor Del Porto, Jesper Orman, Zachary Flom, and Robert Malechka, the lead lap cars. Top nine out on the racetrack. Jordan Owens, first car, one lap down in 10th. Fortunately for you Chad Frankenfield fans, he has called it an evening after an early wreck here in the first half of tonight's race. Unfortunate for him, but he will be back out here next time out. I'm just going to step away for a brief moment because I have to sneeze, and that doesn't sound very good on a broadcast. Robert Malechka heads pit side. All right, we are back. That was a very long sneeze that didn't happen, unfortunately. Robert Malechka does re-enter the racetrack. Actually, no. Robert Malechka, folks, has disconnected from the server, so he is retired. Craig Forsyth has retired after his incident, and Eric Troiano has fallen out of the server. So, guys, that only leaves us with 11 cars still in this race. Wow. Big development there. losing Malechka, losing Frankenfield, losing Troy Ano out there on the racetrack. Joshua Chin continues to lead the way over Kevin Burrell. Burrell's had a fantastic run here in that second spot. Hunter Smith in fourth, Justin Fortner in fifth, trying to hold off Victor Del Porto. Jordan Owens just had himself an off-track moment there. He has rejoined the field. We will stay under green. Joshua Chin actually not too far behind. Chin about to put Jordan Owens an additional lap down here. Mark, I see you, and I agree. I would love to see Michael Hossack get himself a top 10. Michael Hossack, of course, my fellow Canadian. Big East Coaster out there. I would probably celebrate by kissing a fish or something, but it'd be very cool to see Michael Hossack pick up a top 10. Don't want to jinx him, but can't really fall too much further either, so maybe we could jinx him a little bit. Mark Rabilas in the chat. Mark, you out storm chasing tonight or what? What you up to, buddy? Check out RabilasPhoto.com for all your photography needs. Owens continues his way out on the racetrack. Joshua Chin puts him an additional lap down, and actually Owens nearly wrecked into the side of Joshua Chin when he went by, so that was a little scary. Mark's saying he doesn't even like the redacted car. He just is forced to race it. It's not very nice, Mark. Glad you forced him to race it, because Michael Hossack rode position number 9. Joshua Chin on the same straightaway, though, as Chad Simpson and Michael Hossack. Chin looking to put those drivers an additional lap down, which would leave only 8 cars on the lead lap. Well, actually 8 are only on the lead lap now, but would make it a little bit harder for anyone to work their way back to the lead lap. 56 to go here in tonight's 165 lap Blackmagic Designs Grand Prix. Again, be sure to check out Blackmagic Designs on Facebook or Discord. We have a pass for position number 6. Jesper Orman does get by Victor Del Porto. Del Porto falls into that 7th spot after getting passed by our points leader entering tonight. Ooh. Mark Rabilas over in our chat says, about to photograph a Mexico versus Haiti soccer game in Arizona. What a mix, by the way. Hoping to do some storm chasing next week. Well, hopefully if you're storm chasing, it's nowhere near any of our Elite Racing League drivers. Definitely don't want any crazy weather heading their way, but you know, I'm not a huge soccer person. Like, I don't know a lot about it, or football for our European friends. Who is the better team? Is it Mexico? I'm assuming it's Mexico. So the cars on the lead lap, folks: Joshua Chin, Kevin Burrell, Adriano Pinheiro, Hunter Smith, Justin Fortner, Jesper Orman, Victor Del Porto, and Zachary Flom. That is the cars on the lead lap. The cars still running: Michael Hossack, Chad Simpson, Jordan Owens. Malechka has not reconnected. Neither has Eric Troiano. So those drivers all out of the event. Joshua Chin closing up on the rear: Chad Simpson and Michael Hossack. Those are the next 2 drivers to go an additional lap down here. And again, this is the Brands Hatch Indy circuit, a little bit different than what we're used to, but we had a nice little track guide to start the night, so if you missed that, you can always go back and check it out. Let's see, what's Mark saying? Ooh. Mexico is better, but recently fired their coach. Maybe you should be the coach. That would be cool. Mark Rubiales, new head coach of the Mexican national team. Grant Johnson, the assistant coach of Mexico. Joshua Chin to pit road. Let's see if he opts to change tires here. Currently on the black tires. I believe he still has to swap to the reds. With 51 laps to go, is he going to make that change now? Yes, he is. Joshua Chin now on the red compound. This should be the final stop, I do believe, for Joshua Chin here tonight. Dang. Look at Brant over there coaching 4 teams. Brant, what do you do when they play each other? You just pick your favorite players and put them on the field and just say have at it? And Mark, I would take the paycheck too. Adriano Pinheiro pit side. Pinheiro also enters on the black tires. He was on the reds earlier, so let's see what Adriano Pinheiro does. He swaps back to the reds. Pinheiro to come back out on compound. Your race leader is Indy Kevin Burrell, followed by Hunter Smith, Justin Fortner, Jesper Orman, and Victor Del Porto, the top 5. Joshua Chin, Adriano Pinheiro, fresh off their pit stops, running 6th and 7th, respectively. Zachary Flom just behind Pinheiro. Pinheiro just got by Flom to put down position number 8. Actually really impressive, Brant, that you coach all of those teams. Very impressive. I couldn't even coach one team. I couldn't even coach myself. So shout out to you. Closest battle on the racetrack. Adriano Pinheiro, who is 0.7 of a second ahead of Zachary Flom. Everything else, all spread out by multiple seconds. Joshua Chin catching VDP, Victor Del Porto, currently separated by about 1/2 of a second on the racetrack. 3/10 now. Chin getting a bit of a run down the front straightaway into turn number 1. Del Porto able to hold off with the preferred line, but here comes Josh Chin to the right side, down into a bit of the downhill portions here. Josh Chin sneaks by. Kevin Burrell heads pit side. Let's watch his tires as well. Currently on the reds. I would suspect that he would come back out on the red compound as well. I do believe he has been on the black compound already here tonight. And yes, Kevin Burrell will stay on the black compound tires. On the red compound, sorry, not black. For Orman, has a brief moment off the racetrack. Orman rejoins after getting passed again by Victor Del Porto. Josh Chin already up to 3rd. He's chasing down Justin Fortner, who's about a corner ahead of him. So Josh Chin on an absolute tear right now. So Brant, you're saying that you have camera guys. What do? Jesper Orman heads pit side here from position number 5. Hunter Smith, your race leader, currently up 14 positions, still yet to pit. Justin Fortner also has to come pit side soon. Just behind them, Joshua Chin, Victor Del Porto, Kevin Burrell, Adriano Pinheiro, and Zachary Flom. Pinheiro goes deep into the dirt. That is not what he was hoping for. He comes out just ahead of Zachary Flom. Flom's going to try to get by and flambe that machine of Pinheiro. Grant Johnson, professional photographer over there in Australia. Shout out to you, Grant Johnson. And Michael Hosick and Mark Rubiales. Well. There is a battle heating up for position number 9. Michael Hossack just ahead of Chad Simpson. Brant, you might work for a cat dealer, but okay, you're also a professional photographer here tonight. Zachary Flom pits from position number 7. This should be his final pit stop with 44 laps to go. Hossack and Simpson continue to duke it out for position number 9. Simpson just got by Michael Hossack, drops him to position number 10 here on the racetrack. They're trying to chase down Zachary Flom, who goes around on the racetrack. Flom nearly stopped on the track as he gets passed by Orman, by Pinero. He is still wrecking on the racetrack. He gathers it up. Simpson closing that gap a little bit on Flom. He is not in a good position now. Flom about loses it again as he puts a tire off. Not a good couple of seconds there for Zachary Flom. He is 8th, a lap down now. Folks, quick time on the racetrack has just been changed. Kevin Burrell just ran his quickest time of the day, 37.33. A very quick lap by Kevin Burrell. Burrell showing his pace late here. Hunter Smith still on the racetrack ahead of Joshua Chin by 8.5 seconds. Last pit stop for Smith, Fortner, and Del Porto is 79. While Joshua Chin last pit on lap 114. Gonna have push to pass. Justin Fortner has not used any here tonight. 10 pushes for him as per our tracker here. Don't even know if it's accurate, but we'll just go with it. Owens just went off and back on. 4 seconds. Went off in the dirt. Jordan Owens now heads pit side from position number 11. See what he can do with a new set of tires. He is 1 lap back of anybody else and has about 20 laps on the cars behind him. So Jordan Owens guaranteed at least position number 11 tonight. Kevin Burrell side by side with Victor Del Porto. Move Kevin Burrell back to position number 4. He last pit on 118. Hunter Smith comes pit side from the race lead. That'll hand the race lead over to Joshua Chin. I expect Justin Fortner to think about coming down. Here he comes. Justin Fortner now pit side with his teammate Hunter Smith. They're going to put fresh tires out, most likely come back out inside the top 5 to 7 area. Pinero gets by for position number 4. Last car still to pit from these front runners is Victor Del Porto, as Chad Simpson and Michael Hossack both come pit side now. Hunter Smith exits in position number 5. He is still ahead of Jesper Orman. Justin Fortner not too far behind Orman in position number 7. Both drivers should absolutely compete for top 5 finishes here tonight. I would expect Victor Del Porto to come pit side likely this lap. If not this lap, it will be next time by for Victor Del Porto. Last pit again on lap number 79. So everyone else on his cycle has been down with the exception of Victor Del Porto. Kevin Burrell continuing to do a nice job there in position number 2. Victor Del Porto, here he comes pit side. That'll move Adriano Pinero, the bread man, up into position number 3. He is not really having too much competition around him at this point. Pinero quite a bit ahead of Hunter Smith, nearly 11 seconds over Smith, and Orman 5 seconds back of Hunter Smith. So not too much challenge here for the top three besides amongst themselves. Closest gap of those top three is 3.8 seconds between Kevin Burrell and Josh Chin. Chin out front with him, nice margin at this point. Burrell with a bit of a margin over Pinheiro. Hunter Smith, like I said, about 10 seconds back. Then Jesper Orman. Justin Fortner is 4 seconds back of Jesper Orman. Looks to be a little bit quicker, so he may catch him towards the end of this run. 36 to go for Joshua Chin, Kevin Burrell, and Adriano Pinheiro here in tonight's Black Magic Designs Grand Prix here at the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit. The field has gotten spread out once again. We are going to pay our bills one more time and send it over to our friends at TA Services and iRacing.com. We'll be back in about 2 minutes' time.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we are back here at Brands Hatch. Taking a look through the field. Joshua Chin, Kevin Burrell, Adriano Pinheiro, Hunter Smith, and Jesper Orman the top five. Justin Fortner, Victor Del Porto rounding out the cars on the lead lap. You just heard from TA Services and iRacing.com. Of course, we got to shout out our race sponsor tonight, Black Magic Designs. Black Magic Designs is a small team of custom iRacing car painters and photographers dedicated to a quality customer experience. With paint starting as low as $15 per car, find us on Facebook or Discord, Black Magic Designs, where the paint is worth 2/10. Of course, you heard from TA Services, one of our premier partners, as well as Blue Egg Marketing. Blue Egg is the marketing department for small businesses, small business owners. Blue Egg is your biggest fan. Worldwide Technology Raceway is a motorsport racing facility in Madison, Illinois, close to the Gateway Arch, and featuring a 1.25-mile oval, 2-mile road course, quarter-mile drag strip, and a state-of-the-art karting facility known as the Kartplex. Check out Worldwide Technology Raceway today. And of course, our series sponsor, Peace. Warriors for Peace is a foundation promoting peaceful change in the world to honor the beautiful life of Jack Shockley. Check out warriorsforpeace.org for more information. That's Warriors, number 4, peace.org. As we take a look down on the racetrack, your top five remains the same as they were just a few moments ago. And guys, there's no real battles on the racetrack. Everyone really separated. About closest battle, I think, is about a second between Justin Fortner and Jesper Orman. Orman about a corner ahead of Justin Fortner. Fortner trying to close that gap. Victor Del Porto about 2.5 seconds back. There's no real major battles on the racetrack. We see Joshua Chin working his way through lap traffic. as we continue on here. Update on all the drivers out of tonight's event. That is 12th on back. Robert Malechka, Eric Troiano, Chad Frankenfield, Craig Forsyth, Jared Rexing, Ethan Stanley, Seb Alexander, Jow Ritter, Mark Murphy, Chris Webb, Chris Samard, Gavin Hibbs, Brent Johnson, Archie Coveney, last week's winner, and Bill Colley. That was the 26 drivers that started tonight's race. They are scored 12th on back. Currently scored last car running is Michael Hosick. Hosick currently in position number 11, trying to chase down Jordan Owens for that 10th spot. He has to do a little bit of work here. He's a couple corners back of Jordan Owens. Chad Simpson in 9th, Zachary Flom 8th, Victor Del Porto 7th, Justin Fortner in 6th, Jesper Orman in 5th, Hunter Smith 4th, Adriano Pinero in 3rd, Kevin Burrell 2nd, and Joshua Chin is your race leader. Numerous countries represented here tonight. Very cool to see the various flags around. I am seeing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different countries or regions represented here. So very cool to see the diversity of this series. Joshua Chin had a brief off-track moment there. He gathered it right back up. Not too much time lost whatsoever. 4.4 seconds is the gap between first and second. The gap between first and third is 9.5 seconds. The gap back to fourth, 23.4 seconds to Hunter Smith. That is a large, large gap. We do have a battle brewing up, though. Justin Fortner closing that gap on Jesper Orman. Orman just ahead of Fortner. That's for position number 5. Orman currently holding on to that spot ahead of Justin Fortner. Fortner trying to close the gap and get himself up into the top 5. Never know. If you can get up into the top 5 and then something brews a little bit later, you could end up on the podium. Any battle for position is important. Points are crucial. This is not too early in the season. It is never too early in the season. Race number 1 matters all the way through the final race of the series. That battle has fallen apart a little. Trails by 8 of behind Jesper. I'm going to step away for a brief second. We'll crank it up and I'll be right back in about a minute or so. we are back here at the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit. Had to step away for a brief second. I do apologize for that. Joshua Chin, Kevin Burrell, Adriano Pinero, still your podium. Hunter Smith, Jesper Orman, Justin Fortner, Victor Del Porto, Zachary Flom, Chad Simpson, Jordan Owens, the top 10 as they run. Closest battle, Victor Del Porto just behind the Justin Fortner machine, getting a bit of a run here. Zachary Flom just went off in the dirt. Justin Fortner trying to hold off the Victor Del Porto machine as they battle through first couple of turns here at Brands Hatch. Just coming up to 15 to go next time by. Joshua Chin has been absolutely phenomenal here tonight. Looking forward to that opportunity to speak with him a little bit later on. Find out what his thoughts are on tonight's event and what he's gone through to work his way to the front. Obviously, anything can still happen. Still a long way to go. Probably about 8 minutes of green flag racing left in this event tonight. 4 cautions, I do believe, is the count on the event. So could have been better, could have been worse. And you know what? Let's take a look at our biggest movers thus far. As you can see on your timing and scoring as well, Michael Hossack, our biggest mover, up 14 positions. He is trying to chase down Jordan Owens, but there is quite a gap to get there. Hunter Smith, second most positions gained now with 11. Biggest drops through the field. Archie Coveney down 22. Chris Webb down 12 spots as well. Has been a pass for position number 6. Victor Del Porto just got by Justin Fortner. Fortner trying to close the gap on Del Porto to get that spot back. There's a battle for position number 6 and 7. That is really the only battle on the racetrack. Next closest, about 2.5 seconds, is the gap between Hunter Smith and Adriano Pinero. Zachary Flom off the racetrack once again. He reemerges back behind Jesper Orman. Orman currently scored in position number 5. He's had his fair share of up and downs here tonight, but to be able to work his way back and run up in the top 5, that is actually pretty impressive for Jesper Orman. Shows why he's the points leader entering tonight. Been very consistent, top 3, top 5 car most weeks. I think he had one off week, but that was about it. So, great job by Jesper Orman. Great job by Joshua Chin. Kevin Burrell, you know what? He qualified in position number 6. I did not anticipate that he would be running up towards the front. I really didn't. Oh no, Justin Fortner way off the racetrack. His car does not look damaged. Nearly got into the tire barrier. Michael Hossack also off the racetrack. He rejoins. Fortner was off a lot longer than Hossack was, but unfortunate there for Justin Fortner as he now finds himself 1 lap down to the race leader, Joshua Chin. Only 6 cars on the lead lap, and Victor Del Porto really not overly far ahead of your race leader, Joshua Chin. His next time by will be 10 laps to go. Shout out to our race controller, Jonathan Cutlip. Once again, done a phenomenal job keeping this race moving, keeping these drivers minding their P's and Q's and keeping everything flowing for us here tonight. Also, shout out to Chad Frankenfield again for, of course, this league, but going through some stuff at home. Has a sick puppy. Hopefully that puppy gets better, and we can hear it barking in the background real soon. It is 10 to go for Joshua Chin. He has done a phenomenal job holding on to this race lead. Has fallen back a couple times just for pit stops, but has quickly worked his way right back to the front. He's just been on fire, guys, and Joshua Chin looking for an opportunity to close that gap in the points. Just let me open those points here once again. We'll take another peek entering tonight how far back was Joshua Chin? Chin was scored in position 5, 55 points back. He was 18 back. Actually, no, he was 23 back of Chad Frankenfield. Frankenfield in 14th tonight. He was quite a bit back, 31 back from Robert Malechka. Malechka scored in position number 12. Adriano Pinero is just 10 points back of the race lead, so it'll be very interesting to see how the points shake out. Joshua Chin, your race leader, leads by 3.9 seconds over Kevin Burrell. Burrell has closed the gap a little bit each and every lap, but he's just not going to have the time to get there. Coming to 7 to go this time for Chin. 17 seconds back is Adriano Pinero, 29 back to Hunter Smith, 31 to Jesper Orman, and 35 to Victor Del Porto. Del Porto actually just ahead of the race leader. I have them both in the same camera shot now, so it is going to be tight. Let's see here. 7 to go, coming to 6. Next time, 5 for Joshua Chin, Kevin Burrell, and Adriano Pinero. Gonna look a little bit further back. Mark, if you are here, Michael is 13.3 seconds out of the top 10 now. Gordon Owens holding on to that 10th spot as Michael Hosek quite a bit back. Joshua Chin had his own off-track moment. He decided to go and build himself a sandcastle. He has, I was going to say he has enough of a lead, but it's just over 3 seconds now. So anything possible here. Kevin Burrell could still close that gap. I think if Kevin Burrell can be about 3 seconds back when they come across the line this time, he might be able to get there. I don't think he's going to be able to do it, though. No, he's lost more ground now, as we do see Joshua Chin come around. 6 laps, now 5 to go. In with a sizable lead over Kevin Burrell, Adriano Pinero, Hunter Smith, and Jesper Orman. Victor Del Porto, the last car on the lead lap. Joshua Chin coming up to the rear end of Zachary Flom. Flom currently scored in 8th, about to put him an additional lap down now. Flom currently 1 down, about to go 2, as here comes Josh Chin around the outside. Coming to 4 to go already here for Joshua Chin. Chin's done a phenomenal job tonight. It hasn't been the easiest race, that's for sure, and he's about to put on a show. He's catching up to the tail of another lap car here. I believe that to be, yes it is, Michael Hosek, the next car to go an additional lap down here. As Joshua Chin's going to come around and take 3 to go this time. He's coming through the last couple sets of corners here. Now on to the final straight. 3 to go for Joshua Chin. Pull up some career statistics here for Mr. Chin. It's a bit slow tonight. Joshua Chin has 5 career victories in this series. If he picks up his 6th here tonight, in his 10th start, I must say, 60% win percentage, ridiculous. He would tie Chad Frankenfield for 4th all-time in this series. Adriano Pinero has gone off the racetrack big time. He has fallen all the way off of the track, rejoins. Hunter Smith not going to be able to catch him here. Joshua Chin just took 2 to go. But if Chin does win this, as it's looking like he will, with 3.4 seconds of a lead coming to white flag this time, he will tie Chad for 4th all-time in this series with 6 victories. put himself one back of Adriano Pinero with 7, and 3 back of Henry Bennett with 9 victories, and of course Alex Van de Sant with 12 is the overall leader. White flag is in the air for Joshua Chin. Chin's going to go by the Michael Hossack machine. Michael goes way off track, hits the tire barrier. That's not going to help his run for a top 10. Josh Chin gets on by. He's headed home here, folks. Couple sets of corners to go for Joshua Chin, the number 93 for Private Label Team Hype. He's going to be hyped tonight as he comes off of the final set of corners here. Coming to the checkered flag, Joshua Chin, your winner here tonight at Brands Hatch. Chin first. Kevin Burrell crosses the line in second. Adriano Pinero, he's still coming around. Couple corners to go for him. He's looking to finish it off in third. As Pinero comes through the final corner now, he does take third overall this evening. Hunter Smith going to cross the line in fourth. Yes, he does. Jesper Orman going to take a top 5. And Victor Del Porto comes home in position number 6. That is your top finishers here tonight at the Brands Hatch circuit. Of course, running the Indy configuration tonight. We're going to work on getting some of our podium finishers up here in the booth. We don't usually get to talk to Adriano Pinero, so I do believe the first one we'll get to interview, if he comes by, will be Kevin Burrell, your runner-up here tonight. We'll monitor that waiting room, just see if anyone opts to join us. No guarantee that we'll get anybody. Just hearing from Jonathan Cutlip, our race controller. Of course, his iRacing has opted to crash at the last minute. Joshua Chin going to burn it down from victory circle. We take a look down there. We're going to head over to our post-race and pull up some of our results. As we go ahead and grab our race results here tonight, folks. Of course, Joshua Chin, your race leader, your race winner over Kevin Burrell, Adriano Pinero, Hunter Smith, Jesper Orman, Victor Del Porto, Justin Fortner, Zachary Flom, Chad Simpson, Jordan Owens, the top 10. Michael Hossack, Robert Malechka, Eric Troiano, Chad Frankenfield, Craig Forsyth, the top 15. Jared Rexing, Ethan Stanley, Joao Ritter, Seb Alexander, Mark Murphy, the top 20. Just behind them, Chris Samard, Chris Webb, Gavin Hibbs, Grant Johnson, Archie Coveney, and Bill Colley. Get back up to the top there. Looks like we do have Kevin Burrell standing by, our runner-up tonight. Kevin Burrell, it's Robert up in the booth. You got a copy? That was a quick change for you, wasn't it?
A little bit, yeah. No, we're good. Yeah. Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you? How was that race for you tonight?
Oh my God, that was stressful. I mean, you know, this is like, I know people call this like a meme combo. You know, lest we forget that IndyCar did really race here once. You know, it's just hard to keep the car on the track. It's like you're running a short track oval with no grip, but then it's a road course, you know, and I think a lot of the challenge for me was just keeping the front tires alive. I was overdriving every corner and then understeering out as a result, and you know, the reds could last like a full stint, but not the way I was driving, and I figured it out in the final stint, but I just wasn't sure if Josh was going to make it on fuel. It was really intense.
Yeah, it definitely did look intense, and you mentioned some of the challenges that you faced here tonight. Do you think there was anything you might have been able to do differently, maybe strategy-wise, maybe charged a couple corners a little bit differently to be able to catch Josh and give him a good run for the win?
Possibly. I mean, I think one of the things was that I probably could have saved a little more in the second to last stint and pit on 119 instead of 118. I think maybe even 120 would have given me maybe a little bit more of a tire advantage. I think another thing was just, like I said, I kept, the alts really just shouldn't be much all of my full stints. it was just like I felt insane plow understeer to the point where I'm turning the wheel too much, and then when I get on power, you can't do that here without obliterating the rears as well. So I think just a little bit more methodical driving into corners here. I mean, it's almost like an oval, really, where you're just you're trying to preserve your tires from not overdriving into the entries, and I just did not do that today. But I'm happy with the results, so I can't complain. Josh drove a crazy race.
Absolutely. And looking ahead to Iowa next time out, what's your outlook for that race? How are you feeling about an oval?
I like Iowa. It's actually one of the ovals that I like historically have done pretty well at, and if the setup we're using is what I think it is, then it's probably going to feel. I don't know. I think it'll be good. I got to work with the Indy Alliance Racing guys. We'll definitely be like doing some testing of just how it drives and how the race is going to be. I mean, historically, I've done really well at Iowa and like pretty much everything I've run it in, so I feel good about it. But the competition here is it can be really strong, and at ovals, especially something like Iowa, where there's a lot of just like raw mechanical like driving ability to keep your tires alive and keep yourself alive. It's gonna be scary, but I think I have a solid shot at something decent there, so we'll see.
Absolutely. And just before we let you go tonight, the floor is yours. Any sponsors you want to thank? Any shout outs you want to give?
I definitely want to thank the guys at Indy Alliance Racing. They really helped me out a lot with this stuff and kept me convinced that I can actually drive from time to time. Even in a fixed set league, it's really good to have people to talk to about strategy and so on. And other than that, and of course, as always, thanks to Adam Crane for all his help in the early days of me running this car. So yeah, it's really good, and I'm just hoping. I needed a solid result today. Last week, obviously, or 2 weeks ago, whatever, at Long Beach, I was out with COVID, actually, for my first time ever, and it was rough. So I really needed something solid today if that's going to be my drop week, and I got it, so I can't complain.
Absolutely. Glad you're feeling better. Glad you got a great finish tonight, and
Yeah.
congratulations on your runner-up.
Yeah, it's 11 a.m. here in Japan, and I am just somehow really tired from getting up before this and after. I might take a little nap. See you guys around.
Absolutely. Well,
Cheers.
good morning and good night to you then.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, for real. Have a good one.
You too. That was Kevin Burrell, your runner-up finisher here tonight. Let's go ahead and talk to Joshua Chin, your winner. Hey, Josh, it's Robert up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Congratulations on yet another victory here tonight in the Warriors for Peace Open Wheel Series. I was just talking to Kevin Burrell. He mentioned a couple of the challenges he faced throughout tonight's event. I don't know if you really faced much challenges, but if you did, what'd you find was the hardest part of this track and this race altogether?
Just staying focused. It's such a mentally draining race. 165 laps around a road course. Seems like it'd take a long time, but with how short the laps are, it kind of clicks by, but you never really realize until you kind of take a look at the lap counter every once in a while. The rhythm of the race was kind of gone early on with the cautions, and thankfully once we got past halfway, it kind of eased up from there, and we were able to get in a rhythm. But overall, just saving fuel is the biggest key. I know that Jesper and Kevin and those guys kind of made the early stop under a caution work and get some track position back, but ultimately I think especially if the race had gone green, 2 stops was definitely the way to go all the way, and thankfully it worked out well. And even though I made a few mistakes in turn 1, was still able to come home with a decent margin and get the win.
Yeah, and you were very dominant tonight, leading most of the laps aside from when you pit. But the one car that I thought would really put on a battle with you was Adriano Pinero. Saw him have some incidents in the middle portions of the race. And did you expect Kevin Burrell to be as quick as he was and be able to somewhat run you down a little bit towards the end?
After we got through the first pit stop and I saw where the margin was and what tires he was on, I kind of figured he was going to have a shot. It was the biggest thing he had was a tire advantage and being able to run lighter fuel from that point. So every pit stop after that, he'd come out and would have the heavier portion early and then be on light fuel earlier than I was. So it helped him a lot. I knew he had the pace, but it's so hard to tell, especially with qualifying here. It was kind of all mixed up. Some people that had pace were a little farther back in the top 10 than some people that probably didn't have the race pace were starting up at the front. So it was kind of difficult to determine through the first probably 3-4 cautions kind of who really had the pace. But after that point, it started to be apparent who was going to be able to catch and who the worry was going to be behind.
And taking a look at the series statistics coming out of tonight's race, you pick up your 6th career victory, which ties you for 4th all-time with Chad Frankenfield, putting you one back of Adriano Pinero with 7. Do you think you have a good shot at getting that 7th victory at Iowa in a couple weeks, or are you more of a road course guy?
I'm all right at Iowa. It's not my best track with the short arrow configuration. Gateway and tracks like that where you have to do a lot more lifting will kind of be in my wheelhouse, but I don't run bad at Iowa, so hopefully being contention overall, just getting the points is going to be the biggest thing. The championship's so tight right now, and it's just tightened up even more with the leader having issues, so hopefully plays in my suit for the rest of the season.
Absolutely. And before we let you go here tonight, Josh, any shout outs you want to give, anyone you want to thank?
Thanks to everyone at Private Label, Team Hype, Team Talon, and Team Chimera for all their support, and Chad and everyone for running the league. You guys for putting on the broadcast. Hopefully Chad's dogs are doing well, and hopefully everything goes well with that.
Well, congratulations once again, Josh, and we'll see you in a couple weeks at Iowa.
Thank you.
Well, folks, that was Joshua Chin, your winner here tonight at the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit. That'll just about do it for us here tonight. It was a great race for Josh Chin, Kevin Burrell, Adriano Pinero, of course, Hunter Smith, Jesper Orman, the top 5 there. Michael Hossack gained a bunch of spots, moving up 14 positions to 11th. We also saw Archie Coveney, last week's winner, drop all the way to 25th. We saw issues for Jesper Orman, as well as Robert Malechka, Chad Frankenfield, and others, which will really shake up the points like Joshua mentioned. Of course, next race here in this series will be in a few weeks' time, 2 weeks to be exact, at the Iowa Speedway. 300 laps there, which should be one heck of a race. That one, of course, will be with David Huckleberry and Johnny Thomas. They'll be joining you for that broadcast. But for all of us here at the Elite Racing Network, David Huckleberry, Chad Frankenfield, Jonathan Cutlip, our race controller, as well as all the other admins you don't see behind the scenes here. My name is Robert Hill Jr. It's been a pleasure watching this race with you tonight, bringing some of the action to you, hanging out in the YouTube chat, having a good time, and thank you for spending the last 2 hours with me, and I look forward to getting back on the air with you guys 2 weeks' time on Tuesday night with the Pit Pass Network ARCA series here on the Elite Racing Network, and after that, we're going to be kicking into overdrive with all of our leagues getting back into action. But on behalf of myself, Black Magic Designs, all of our partners, TA Services, Blue Egg Marketing, Worldwide Technology Raceway, and of course Warriors for Peace, this has been another presentation of the Warriors for Peace Open Wheel Series on the Elite Racing Network, and I hope you all had yourself a wonderful evening. And remember, folks, be smart, be clean, and we'll be there at the end. Good night, everybody.